I believe with all of my heart that this country, in this day and age, needs men and women of integrity. That's what South Africa should pray for right now. Men and women of integrity. Coming up. I still believe with all of my heart that men like Judge Mogoeng should step forward and assume leadership position in this country, especially politically and in the position of presidency. If you listen to this man and you look at how he's been serving all these years as a judge and listen to him talk, I always pray to God and say, Lord, please open South Africans' eyes to see the solution for this country. And it's always the case, I don't know why, but it's always the case that the society somehow, for whatever reason, will be blinded to see the true leader who really can take this country forward. Personally, I believe that Judge Mogoeng is the man for us. Listen to this guy.
Accountability. People, leadership, ethical leadership, and accountability are engineered. And the critical aspect of it is, how do you choose leaders? I articulated this thing twice or three before, and somebody tried to make a mockery out of it in a very nonsensical way. The starting point is, who is allowed to be a leader at any level of society? Whether it's a pastor, a teacher, a principal, how much do we make it our business to dig into the background of a person? To avoid having people who are going to molest our children in schools and even as principals. To avoid people assuming managerial and leadership positions in government circles and even in the private sector, who are going to make it conditional to your appointment or elevation, to sleeping with them or undertaking to give them money, however competent you may be. So, here is my suggestion. I have said, all the way up to the presidency, we've got to make sure that funding comes from the state. Elections don't come every month or every year. They come once in a while. Now, because we don't want state capture, we've got to budget whatever number of billions are necessary to distribute among those that deserve to run for political office. You may say, but how are you going to determine? That's what you and I must think about. We must not lazily accept what is already there. What is already there is a product of how far others could go in trying to find a solution. But because we know that system has not worked, nothing stops us from saying, but isn't there another way? Remember when the cell phone was introduced? I mean, the first Nokia cell phone was like a traditional weapon. And scientists could easily have said, well, this is the cell phone. What are you looking for? But people kept on thinking, beyond landlines, hello, to cell phone, there is a way. So we've got to creatively say, This thing of people funding whoever they choose to anoint as future ministers, premiers, and president doesn't work for Africa. Just as we budget handsomely for other responsibilities, because of the critical nature of elections, we've got to budget very well for it if we are to preserve our future. Because otherwise, it's a question of those who are well-resourced. As empirical studies, particularly in America, have shown, identify, oh, this one is a smart one, and let's groom him or her into a serious leadership position. Once they are there, they will remember that we made them, not the people. As I keep on saying, it no longer becomes a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It becomes a government of the rich, by the rich, and for the rich. So, when the state representing the people have released the resources that facilitates eligibility for public office, then it becomes easier to hold people accountable. If you don't do that, you'll continue to see very impressive election manifestos. Once people are in office, they keep on saying what is there but not doing it. And you say, but these are smart people. Why can't they do the obvious? What is stopping them from doing what they undertook to do? Money. Come election time, a recalibration of what was said many times before, a massive media campaign and all sorts of paraphernalia that goes with it. And people just get lulled into say, oh, maybe this time around, maybe this time around. It'll never happen. That has been the problem of Africa. That has been the problem of the developing world. And it has become the problem even of the developed world. So you'll never be able to hold them accountable. You'll find this person with a shocking track record. No ethical leadership at all. You are almost certain this person is going to go out. Oh, the person comes back even bolder than ever before. Mama Real Doaba. Mandela ran a very lucrative legal practice. He and Mr. Oliver Tambo. Very lucrative. He had a choice, and he knew that for him to enjoy the money that comes with being an attorney and the prestige, he had to obey the laws, however oppressive they were, however unjust he knew them to be. And for him to contribute meaningfully towards ending injustice, oppression, and exploitation, he had to say, well, if I starve, so be it. If I die, so be it. That is selfless leadership for you. That is ethical leadership for you. I keep on saying to people, just think about it. People were prepared to die, and many died. People suffered, and some continue to suffer, who were at the forefront of the liberation struggle. Black and white. They could have chosen money and positions even in the homeland systems. My schooling was funded by the Buputazwana government. I was a very poor fellow. But I was very clear in my convictions. They would never give me a politically oriented case. I would have refused. But I spoke out as a government employee against the discriminatory practices that were happening even in our office. Because if you were black, you earned less than your white colleague, however junior he or she might be. I said, this is wrong. I was interviewed by the media. I said, this is wrong. And I resigned. When I resigned, I was funding my wife's education at the university. We had a child. I was responsible for the education of my two brothers. And I knew that my pension payout was going to be 8,400, and I was paying a bond for my 4-roomed house in the township. I had to pay for my accommodation doing pupillage here. If I failed, that would have been the end of me and maybe the end of my marriage. But principle dictated that I can't look like I'm colluding. So it's a choice. What ideal do you cherish? What, if any, are you prepared to die for the sake of the suffering masses? I think it will be a joy to die not because I was greedy, which is a problem in this country and around the world, but because I sought to champion the cause of justice, regardless of what the loudest in our country choose to say about what I do or say.
Let me hear your comment below, and please let's grow this channel. Don't forget to subscribe.